We're going to be talking about probability in this unit, and before we get to probability, we're going to talk about sets and Venn diagrams. That will help you understand some of the notation and things that you will see. So we're just going to talk about different types of things here. First of all, you need to know a couple different notation pieces. The union of two or more sets is the set that contains all elements in either of the sets. This means that if you have two groups of things, that you just put it all together. When you put it all together, that makes the union. And union is a symbol that looks like a U. The intersection of two or more sets is the set that contains all the elements that belong in both sets. So this is everything in both of the sets, but this says just what they have in common. So if both sets have something in common, that would be the intersection. And that symbol is an upside down U, almost like an N for intersection, if you want to think of it that way. Alright, so a set is just a group of elements. And so when I look at this next example, there are these next few examples, we have a set here of just numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we have another set here of numbers, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And another set of numbers, 9 and 10. And first of all, it says we want to find the union of A and B. Okay, remember the union is anything in either set. So you're just putting all of these things together, and you do not need to repeat anything. So 4, 5, and 6 I'm not going to repeat, but then 7, 8, and 9. So I'm just putting everything from both sets, and then that's the answer for number 1. Number 2 says the intersection of A and B, which means what do these two things have in common? When I look at those two sets, the only thing that's in both sets are 4, 5, and 6. So 4, 5, and 6 is the intersection of A and B. Alright, next it says A union C. Well, A union C are these two sets. And so it's everything from both of those two sets. You just include it all. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then also 9 and 10. Because remember union, you just write it all down. Alright, number 4, intersection between A and C. That means what these two sets have in common. They don't have anything in common. So we're going to write a 0 with a line through it, meaning there's nothing in common. Sometimes that's called the null set. Or the empty set. Alright, B union C. You combine these two sets, and it says union, so you just put everything down. And then intersection means what these two have in common. The only thing in common is a 9, so that would be a 9. So when you're looking at sets, that's one kind of problem that we're going to look at. Venn diagrams is another way to organize our ideas. You've probably seen Venn diagrams in lots of other subjects, so that's what we're talking about here. The rectangle represents the universal set. The universal set is like the population. If we're talking about the population at South Caldwell, that's what that whole thing would represent. If you're talking about the number of people in your family, that's what that would talk about. Alright, then there's subsets of the universal set. There's A and there's B. Sometimes they overlap. Objects that belong to both subsets, that would be the intersection. So that part right there is called the intersection. Okay. If there was something here, that would be something that's not included in the whole entire thing, so that's a neither. If you added these three together, these three circles, that would be the union. And if you add the number that's here, 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 and here, if you add all that together, you should get the number that's on the outside. If it's included here in just this little section, that means that it's not a part of B. If it's included here, it's not part of A. And here is a part of both of them. So that's the intersection. So let's look at some examples. In these examples, you will have to draw some Venn diagrams to answer the questions. And you'll be showing your work there, but let's talk about it. So we have this Venn diagram. It tells me we have 1,000 Americans, so we've got 1,000 people. You're just going to put that number outside the box. Okay, we're talking about A blood and B blood. And it does tell me that 450 have type A blood. Well, if you keep reading, it also tells you how many have B blood and how many have AB blood. And what we need to do first is we need to start with the AB blood. That is 40. Okay, where it says you have 450 have A, you did not put 450 right here. You actually have to subtract the 40 off of it, because when you put the number here, that includes not just this part. So adding these together give you A, but separately it works like that. So then when you do B, you're going to take 140 for the B blood, and you're going to subtract 40 to get 100. So we did 450 minus 40, and we did 140 minus 40. Now, there's one piece that's missing, and that's this part that's not included right out here. So what I do is I add those together. So 410 plus 40 plus 100. And you get 550. And then you do 1,000 minus that. And that tells you how many do not have either type. Okay, so let's go back to the question. The question said, draw a Venn diagram, determine how many people have neither type. Well, neither type would be the part that's outside the circles. So that's 450, so 450 is the answer. Okay, let's look at some more examples. Okay, in this situation, we're talking about band and chorus. And so I'm just going to call it B and C. You can call it whatever you want to. We've got 50 students, so that's the total. 18 are taking band, 26 taking chorus, 2 taking both. There's 2 goes right there. So I need to subtract 2 from 18 to get the band part. I need to subtract 2 from the 26 to get the chorus part. And then I add those together. So I do 16 plus 2 plus 24, which is 42. And then I subtract that to get the part that goes on the outside. So that's the first thing you should do, is make your box and then fill in all your circles and everything that goes places. So then let's answer the questions. How many students are taking chorus and not taking band? Alright, chorus and not taking band means only the chorus part but not this band part, so that would be 24. How many are taking both band and chorus? Well, that would be the 2. How many are taking band and not chorus? So that would be this part right here without the 2, so that would be 16. How many are not taking band or chorus? That's the part outside the circles, which is 8. How many are taking band or chorus? Band or chorus are these 3 right here. Any part of those, you just add those together, which we did over here, so that's 42. And then these are just our symbols. C intersection B, that means the and, so that's the 2. Union B just means the or, so it's those 3, which adds up to 42. Okay, another example. Okay, we've got math and science that we're looking at right now, and we've got a total of 540. 335 taking math, 287 taking science, 220 taking both. Both is there in the middle. And again, I'm going to subtract each of those numbers minus 220. Okay, so 335 minus 220 is 115. So 115 would be that part of the circle. 287 minus 220 is 67, and that would be that part of the circle. Then you add those 3 together. And you get 402. And then you subtract 402 from that. and that goes here on the outside. So then let's go back to the question, how many are taking neither math nor science? We just found that was 148. That's the part outside the circles. Okay, just a couple more examples. Okay, this time we're talking about voting, and we have Proposition 1 and Proposition 2. Notice none of my circles or squares are perfect, and that's okay. We've got 100 voters. 52 voted for 1, 38 voted for 2, 18 voted for both. 18's in the middle. So I'm going to subtract 52 minus 18 to get the Proposition 1 part. I'm going to take 38 minus 18 to get that part. Let's figure out this outside part. And then we're going to subtract that from 100. And that will give me the part here. Let's go back to the question. How many voted for neither? Again, we're looking at that 28. So that's our neither. Okay. Last question doesn't ask us about neither, so it's a little bit different. Alright, we're talking about cricket and basketball. Cricket's some kind of sport. 10 students who play cricket and basketball, so 10 goes in the middle. 7 students do not play cricket or basketball, so 7 goes out here. 13 play cricket. 13 play cricket, that includes these 10, so I'm going to take 13 minus 10 to get that only 3 are just cricket. 29 play basketball, so I take 29 and subtract the 10 that's also included there. And the question is, how many are in the class? Well, the number in the class are these added together, so I'm going to take 3 plus 10 plus 19 plus 7. 3 plus 10 plus 19 plus 7. Add it together, and 39 is our total, and 39 is what it was asking for.